Philosophy rarely plays a role when it comes to earnings per share, but right now it's at the fundament of what's going on in the semiconductor space. See, right before the end of President Biden's term, the government drafted a set of very hurried rules meant to keep China from getting our most advanced chips. But in order to ensure that the Chinese couldn't get the latest and greatest, the White House selected 18 friendly countries that could get unlimited amounts of NVIDIA's most advanced chips, ones that Biden thought we could trust. It excluded many others, though, and the omissions are frankly pretty shocking. The list itself made me sick to my stomach because the composition made no sense at all. At the same time that Biden suggested these new rules, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, was busy traveling around the world urging that countries have their own sovereign AI so they wouldn't be too dependent on our own culture. Jensen always stressed to me that you didn't want the United States ruling AI. It would only breed resentment. It would restrict it. Sure enough, the Biden proposal worked directly against the sovereign AI proposition that Jensen championed. I was there a day after the rules came down, pretty much the last thing that Biden did, and Jensen was stunned. He'd been playing by the rules all along, and suddenly he was then hit with a list that didn't include countries like, I'd say, Israel or Iceland or Singapore, any of the Gulf states. We sell so much military hardware to these countries, but God forbid they got their hands on some high-end chips. How did that make sense? On the other hand, if you're terrified of the Chinese getting premium chips, well, you might favor these so-called AI diffusion rules. On the other hand, our country is the world leader in this technology, something that's cemented friendships around the globe, distinguishing us as an ally to many nations that might otherwise have sided with the Chinese. It wasn't clear whether the new administration would choose the pure anti-China strategy or embrace the world leadership strategy of previous presidents. This week, we saw Trump's position. He chose world leadership, and he allowed NVIDIA to sell to any Gulf country that wants their product. Trump basically put together a hyperscaler, one that like an Amazon or a Google, and brokered some huge business for NVIDIA. Jensen Huang's now headed to Taiwan to speak at a forum called Computex. And you know, it wouldn't shock me if some of the excluded nations like Singapore put in some very big orders, too. You could argue that I'm just talking my book here. The Chapel Trust has owned NVIDIA for ages, as you know, and its stock has roared as Trump distances himself from Biden's what's known as AI diffusion rules. And look, I am talking my book, but I think it's bigger than that. If we want to beat the Chinese, so to speak, we got to befriend and work with the rest of the world. In that sense, if you want an anti-China strategy, it means helping out countries like Saudi Arabia or Singapore using our technology so they stay in our sphere of influence. Biden's AI diffusion rules were incredibly ill-advised and ran counter to years and years of American tech policy. Good to see them buried. NVIDIA is a tremendous ambassador for the United States. It's now unleashed, and it's tremendous for our nation that it can play that terrific role worldwide, rather than just in a bizarre list of 18 already friendly countries, handpicked by who even knows, a forgettable chapter in a suboptimal moment in American history and philosophy. I like to say there's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise I'll find it just for you right here on Mad Money. I'm Jim Cramer. See you tomorrow.